Welcome back to Delusional Witch Juice, the podcast where I give you hidden history, metaphysical mysteries, and facts behind folklore, all the things. But I'm going to be completely honest with you guys today. I do not feel well. And I actually considered not recording an episode at all, but I also didn't want to leave you all hanging. I wanted to at least put a little something out there and stay consistent. But of course, that left me with one problem. Like, what kind of witchy episode can I make when I don't have the energy to research 12 historical sources and compare translations and spiral into like a 6 hour investigation over whether somebody in the Middle Ages actually used rosemary for that purpose? I can't. But then I realized that the answer is the episode. So today is going to be a little less conspiracy and craziness, but today we are going to talk about low energy witchcraft. So, what does your practice look like when you are sick, exhausted, overwhelmed, or just plain burnt out and you're not feeling particularly magical? Because despite what social media sometimes suggests, being a witch does not mean waking up every morning, doing a sun salutation, pulling out 3 tarot cards, journaling for an hour, tending to the herb garden, and then cleaning your altar and do like some sort of elaborate protection ritual all before opening your laptop. That's just too much. So sometimes you wake up and as a witch, your major spiritual accomplishment for the day is just remembering to charge your phone. And that does not mean that your practice has disappeared. It means you are a person with a body and a schedule and a limited amount of energy. And I think one of the biggest problems with modern witchcraft content is that it can turn a simple spiritual practice into basically another productivity system. There's always something else you could be doing. And I struggle with this a lot when I first started my witchy journey. Like, you could be studying astrology. You could be memorizing tarot cards. You could be celebrating every full moon, new moon, Sabbath, and planetary transit. You could be making offerings, researching your ancestors, growing herbs, learning protection magic, and organizing jars of mysterious objects. Like, none of those things are bad. Again, I have tried them all. I try to remember to do them all. I love many of them. But when all of those practices get placed together, witchcraft can start to feel very demanding, like a very demanding unpaid internship. And you begin to feel like you're doing it wrong because, I don't know, your altar is a little dirty, or because you forgot to do your full moon ritual, or maybe you bought a journal for shadow work and then discovered that shadow work actually involves writing in the journal, which to me honestly feels unnecessary and very demanding. Maybe your tarot cards have been sitting untouched for 3 weeks. I have a friend who pulls them every single day, and of course she's a Virgo, but I just cannot remember to do a daily card pulling. And maybe you meant to celebrate the seasonal holiday, but the day arrived, you were tired. So instead of doing your Lithia ritual, you ordered takeout and watched television instead. There is no spiritual attendance sheet. Like, the moon is not checking whether you've completed your ritual or not. It's not like your ancestors are sitting somewhere saying, oh my God, she didn't light the correct candle this month. Unfortunately, we're going to have to revoke her spiritual privileges. That's not happening. A spiritual practice should support your life. Your life should not become a constant performance designed to prove that you have witchy spiritual practices. So, what actually counts as witchcraft on a low energy day? And honestly, almost anything can become a part of a practice when you approach it with attention and intention. That doesn't mean every ordinary action has to be called a spell. Like, sometimes making tea is literally just making tea. But tea can also become a small ritual. You can choose the herb or the flavor that feels most comforting. You can stir it slowly. You can whisper intentions into it. You can take one breath and decide that for the next few minutes, your only responsibility is to drink this warm tea. That honestly is enough of a ritual. You can open a window and let in fresh air into a room. Let your house breathe. Open a window, let in fresh air. You can literally light one candle or hold a crystal or any other object that makes you feel grounded. That's a ritual. Even sometimes when I'm not feeling super spiritual or like not that I've been quote unquote bad in my practice, honestly, just lighting a candle and pulling one tarot card without trying to perform an entire inner reading for myself, literally just pulling the tarot card and being like, oh, look, I got the star today. Cool. And then that's it. That could be the ritual. Even like taking your medication and drinking water before you go to bed, that is a ritual of that's an action as a form of protection. So we talk so much about protection magic as though it always needs to involve salt and sage smoke and mirrors or over complicated wards or whatever. But literally caring for your body is also protective. It's the most simplest form of protection. Like setting a boundary is protective. Turning off your phone is protective. Deciding not to give every person access to your time and attention, that's especially protective. Like resting before you completely burn yourself out is protective. Like your body is not an inconvenient container that keeps interrupting your spiritual practices. Like your body is part of the practice. So now let me get off my soapbox and my little ranting about low energy witchcraft and actually talk about some things that I do personally and that you could do if you're not particularly feeling up to being magical. So I think it helps to divide low energy witchcraft into three different levels. Because you know me, I love a system. So the first level is for days where you have almost no energy. I'm not there yet, but I feel tomorrow could be one of these days. But on these days, literally the goal is not to force yourself to perform a ritual. The goal is to make it through the day with as much gentleness as possible. Like, be kind to yourself. Drink a glass of water, open the curtains, hold something comforting, and just like say one sentence of gratitude, even if the sentence is just, I am grateful that today is almost over. That's the ritual. You do not have to like transform your suffering into wisdom, okay? You don't have to journal about it. You don't have to figure out what the universe is trying to teach you because you got sick today. Like sometimes a bad day is simply a bad day. It could be because of planetary transits, but try not to think about that. You are allowed to rest without turning the rest into another like self improvement project. Okay, the second level is literally a 3 to 5 minute practice. And this is what I had enough energy for too today. But this is for the days when you have just like a small amount of energy and want to feel connected without getting out the salt, the sage, the divination tools, like all that. All you have to do is light a candle and sit beside it for a few minutes. Watch the flame. You can even pull one tarot card and ask, what do I need today? No trying to overcomplicate the question. You don't need to do a 3 card pull. Don't focus on what's going to happen over the next 6 months, not what your entire life purpose is, just what you need today in this moment. And then make a cup of tea or coffee, whatever, and choose one simple intention, just one. Like it could be comfort, it could be clarity, rest, patience. Personally, I would pick rest if you're not feeling well, but write it in a journal or on a piece of paper or just honestly even remember it. But you don't need to fill 3 pages of your journal with your intention. You can write, today I feel exhausted and I want to take care of myself. Boom. That counts. That's the ritual. And then you could also go outside and notice what the season is doing. Like, is something in the air changing? Like, I am all about seasonal awareness. And seasonal awareness does not require a decorated altar for each season or like a historically accurate feast. Sometimes it's simply paying attention to the world right outside your door. And then the third level is what I would call like a gentle reset. So this is for when you have slightly more energy and want to shift the atmosphere around you, but you still could probably take a step back. So you could clean one small section of your altar, literally just wipe down with a rag. You don't have to clean the entire room, not the entire shelf. You don't have to do the whole thing, literally just one section. You could play like some music that changes the emotional feeling of your space. I personally, there's a Spotify playlist called Witchy Lo-Fi. You could write down one thing you are ready to release, tear it up, throw it away, burn it. You know, I love to burn things. None of this requires you to wait for the full moon and like wear a black velvet robe and chant something into smoke of a candle. Like, that's just too much. Like, you are allowed to use the trash can. Like, the symbolism still works. And on the simplest low energy rituals I use is what I think of as the bare minimum reset. You need a glass of water, a candle if you feel like lighting one, and one sentence of attention. Place the water beside you, light the candle or don't. Fire safety is more important than aesthetics here. But take a slow breath in and say something like, today I release the need to do more than I am capable of doing. Or it doesn't even have to be that crazy. That honestly is even a little too much for me. You could literally just be like, my only responsibility right now is to care for myself. Or, even simpler, I am allowed to rest without earning it. Then drink the water. That is the whole ritual. Like, no special tools, no complicated correspondence, none of the fear that you're using the wrong color candle. I almost had a meltdown, no pun intended, the other day because I needed a green candle and only had blue candles. But the power is in stopping, it's in paying attention, it is in consciously giving yourself permission to take a rest. I also think low energy practice teaches us something important about consistency. So, like, consistency doesn't always mean doing the exact same thing every day. It can mean returning when you are able. Perfect example of me recording tonight. I didn't have the energy or the voice to do a full 30-40 minute historical context with research of botanical magical herbs. But like, nature is consistent, but nature is not constantly productive. Plants grow, they bloom, they produce seeds, and then they die, and then they rest. The moon disappears from the sky and returns. The seasons change. There are always active periods and quiet periods. And you could even say, like, oh, it's almost the full moon, so I should be more active. I should wait to rest till a new moon. Like, don't even think about that. A practice can have seasons too. There may be months where you are constantly reading or learning and experimenting, and there may be months where your only connection to witchcraft is noticing the moon while you take the trash out. Like, both are real, both belong to you. I still have some enough energy to leave you all with some homework. The challenge I want you to take is create a bare minimum version of your spiritual practice. Choose 3 things you can do when you are tired, sick, overwhelmed, burnout, whatever. Maybe 3 things are lighting a candle, pulling one tarot card, and drinking a glass of water. Those are honestly my go-tos. Maybe your entire low energy practice is you placing your hand over your heart, taking one deep breath, and reminding yourself that you are okay and you're still here. Write those 3 things down somewhere. I promise, not as another checklist to fail. Think of it as a safety net. Your practice does not vanish just because you're tired or overwhelmed. I'm going to say it again. You do not have to constantly prove your connection to magic, nature, your intuition, or anything else. Your practice is still yours, even when all you can do is like literally survive the day. And honestly, surviving the day is sometimes that's enough. But for now, thank you for listening to Delusional Witch Juice. Take care of yourself, drink some water, and please do not attempt some elaborate candle spell when you are sick and about to fall asleep. I will talk to you all next week. Bye.